What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another day in Car Mechanic Simulator with me, the Virtual Mechanic. And, well, this isn't the latest car from the China DLC. We've got one more to go, but we've got to get our competition entry in, as today is the last day to enter. If you're watching this as it comes out, you've only got a few hours to get an entry in if you want to. But if not, head over to the Red Dot Games official Discord server and cast your vote for who you think is your favourite out of all of the builds. Everybody's building this beautiful 300SL or Gullwing or a version thereof. So, be cool to see who your favourite is. So make sure you head over, take part, have some fun. Even if you don't want to enter, it's always just a good laugh in there. Link in the description below. Plus, the server's a great place to get any help you may need with the game. Apart from mods, although there is a section for mods and some of the modders will help you if you need it. So there we go. This is what we're working on today. This is the VM Voodoo edition of the Mercedes-Benz 300SL, which I have obviously created myself. We go in and take a look. There it is, Mercedes-Benz 300FL VM Voodoo. And as you can see, it's definitely a lot lower than it normally would be. We've got lots of stance changed on this one. There are some bonus parts. We will go through all of them in a moment. We got ours from the auction house and it's in all right condition. I've definitely seen better, but we've definitely seen worse. We didn't get a good deal. I bought it for 41,236 and would lose out on 1,014 if we sold it now. So we're definitely not going to do that. And the reason this is called the VM Voodoo is because it's got the V8 double overhead cam Voodoo engine in there, which is absolutely awesome. As part of the TK Aftermarket, ordered in by Dead Bob, aka Pain. 432 factory horsepower on this one, but we will not be racing this today, not at all. This is just about style and looks, so we're not going to deter away from that. I want you guys to give this final finished version a score out of 10, and it will eventually go on our board there. We got two cars on there at the moment, the Bolt Chapman VM Slammed and the BMW M4 VM Gumball. You guys voted, gave them a score out of 10. We're counting points, and I will give an average of whatever they are, and they will go up. We just got one more bit to add to this board, and that's I'm going to add in the amount of people that voted, just so it's another metric to see whether some cars did better than the other. For example, this is a 9.5, but I do think only 1 or 2 people voted for it. So if you've got another 9.5 that had 5 people vote for it, that would obviously be better. There we go. That's what we're doing that. So that will be changed by probably next Wednesday, I imagine, because I've got to give you guys a few days to get some votes in. So I'll give you a week from the day this video comes out, a week on Wednesday. That's when we will be adding in the new board, which means the board will be in the game the following Friday. That's when we'll add it in. But you've got till Wednesday to vote for it. So let me know what you think in the comments below, and do leave us a cheeky little score out of 10. But now let's get into this beautiful Gullwing. Let's get into the car wash. Let's get it cleaned up. Here we are in the car wash. Let's get the beautiful Mercedes cleaned. We can see that it's a grey under there. It's definitely not staying that colour. Is it grey or is it black? That's probably a black. It's definitely not staying that colour, but it may have a few splashes of grey in there. So let's get the interior done. Get this beast back on the lifter. Get that Voodoo engine ripped out of there. And for the first time, start stripping it down. I've never played with the Voodoo engine before. This will be my first time. So let's give it a go and see how it turns out. The Voodoo Gullwing is up in the air. I can already see that big old oil pan, so let's just go and get that drained. See if it was well looked after before we managed to take it over. That's quite clean, and there's quite a bit of it. Well looked after. The Mercedes-Benz crew definitely getting involved and looking after their cars. Let's get started with the starter, wherever you are. There you are. Out you come, nice and simple. And then next up, we've got our cheeky little drive shaft. Out you come. Never checked to see if the big chunky one will still fit with everything I've got going on in the interior. So we may be sticking with the original drive shaft today so that we don't clip through anything. We'll find out a little bit later on. Let's get this gearbox out. One rusty bolt in there. Not too bad. Now, obviously, we've got the lovely side exhaust going through them vents in the side. Took a little while to line them up, I'm not going to lie, but they do come out of here. And it does look pretty good, in my opinion. But there we go. That's that all taken care of. Let's see if we can rip that engine out of the engine bay using the engine crane. Over we go. Get you opened up and get you pulled out of there. That's what we like. Nice and simple. There we go. We jump in and check out this engine bay. We have an ECU. I haven't seen one of these in a little while. I have changed a few little bits in here. Moving this battery from the back, I believe, or under a seat somewhere, up into the engine bay and putting it at that slight angle because it sits on a little sledge little ledge on a slope there. So there we go. So we got the battery in there. We've got the ECU. We've got the brake servo, the wishy-washy reservoir. I did think there was a fuse box, and I don't know where it's gone. Maybe there isn't a fuse box. Oh, I'll be actually happy. Pitting in the fuses takes such a long time, but there we go. I can't see a fuse box. I don't know if I'm missing it or what. I cannot see one. Maybe there isn't one in there, but never mind. Down the back, we've got the fuel tank and the fuel pump, so let's just get that fuel pump out of there. We are missing a few bits from the rear suspension, the plate on the back, one bearing by the looks of that, or cap by the looks of that, another arm that comes out of there, a few bits missing, spring cap. We can deal with all of that a little bit later on, but for now, let's get the liquid drained out of here. Right click, additional tools, drain tool, click and hold. I'm going to go for the radiator because that one does need draining, and get all of that drained out. We're going to get all the suspension cleared, replaced, repaired, upgraded, whatever needs to be done before going back together and coming back, and sorting out all this bodywork before getting into the paint shop to see what I've done with the beautiful Gullwing today. That's everything mechanical, all repaired, replaced, or upgraded. Now we need to sort out this beautiful bodywork. So let's get on and just start tearing this down, off with the hood. I do need to get this headlight out before I can get that light out. So let's just start with some bonus parts. I've only got 2 on the vehicle as it stands at the moment. But there is 9 more to go on there, so we've got plenty more bonus parts to go. Now, one thing we do need to get, I just added that to my basket, I didn't mean to, is these little front bumpers, because we got the bumper delete, but we didn't want the holes, so we got them removed. Front end out you come, windshield off you come, mirror off you come, and then these fenders here, which we've just got the stripped and the lettering on there. There we go, out you come, off with the door. I don't believe there's anything else on there. I don't think so. Body window. Then we got the trunk, the rear window, and then obviously the tail lights and the license plate. I wonder if my license plate's been fixed. Probably not, but never mind. There we go. Off you come. Off you come. Oh, didn't need to do that. Just meant to take the door off. And I think that's part of the exhaust. I think that might be everything. Oh, actually, rear bumper. We've got the same thing down at the back. There we go. Just off with them, so that we don't miss that. Plugged holes instead of an actual bumper. As for the interior, we went for the normal coloured interior, but we are going to keep these seats. We're just going to change the colour a little bit later on. We're also keeping the steering wheel as well. We'll probably change the colour of that. This is going to be hidden, so we're not worried about that, because there is bonus parts. We will cover the bonus parts in a little bit when we get this one all back together. But before we do that, have we got everything? That's not the screen I want. 1% on there. And nothing showing up on there. The frame's at 39%, and we bought the car for just over 41,000. So what do we reckon? I'm going to say 2,222. 1,500. Way off, but there we go. Let's have a look at the Mercedes-Benz store. All the different bumper options, including the front bumper delete there. And you've got all the different grille options with the splitter and all things like that without the Mercedes badge in gold. There isn't a black one with the Mercedes badge, which I'm a little bit disappointed about. I wish that one was in there, so we went for this one here instead. Then the doors. I believe the first door is red interior, the second door is black interior, and then it's black interior, but a carbon fibre door and with gold brightwork, I suppose. Again, I really wanted some more black brightwork, so it would have been nice if one of these doors could have had the black door handle and things like that in. That's what I'd have liked, but it's not there, sadly. Blacked out window frames, we've got them all the way around. Carbon hood, if you want to play with it. The lights we're going for today are the blacked out lights. I'm undecided as to whether we go for the clear or the European ones with the yellow indicators on there. As for the mirrors, I don't think I really mind. Lights, we're definitely going to go. Rear lights, we're definitely going to go with the black surround on there. Black on the side skirts or fenders. And then black on the window surrounds as well. And that's about it. Black lettering on the trunk there. And black around the windshield. That's what we're going to go for on this build. But there is plenty of bonus parts to go back on it. So let's get all of the body panels repaired. And get all them bonus parts on. Ready to put this beast into the paint shop. Here we go then, and let's get the Voodoo very custom Gullwing all back together. Let's just get all of the body panels back on first, starting with that hood. Then we've got the front end G with the mesh and all blacked out, or darkened, should I say. Then the headlights are I went for the American style without the yellow indicators, whatever you want to call them. Front bumper, obviously, just the little hole pins in there. Oh, I'll come out of assembly mode. There we go. Windshield with the black rim. Black mirror on there as well. And then, obviously, the door cards, which are just what they are. Well, they're not. Obviously, you get different types, but I wanted black handles. I just couldn't get them. Is that supposed to be poking out? I guess so. Never mind. Body window, in you go. Then we got the rear window. The trunk with the black lettering on there, looking nice. Tail light, that lovely rear bumper. In you go there. Then the other tail light on there. Body window, all blacked out, looking nice. And then obviously we've got that rear right fender on there with the black lettering. Will all make sense when we colour the car. What am I talking about? You've already seen the thumbnail. You know what colour we're going for. Let's get you on. I think that's everything for the bodywork. So we'll get the license plate on. Are they fixed? Probably not. I've gone for VM plates with Voodoo. Yeah, still black lettering. Shame, but never mind. There we go. Now we've got some lovely bonus parts to get onto here. So I'm going to start by opening that hood, and we're going to go in, and we're going to start right there. Because the Okay, we're not going to start right there. We're going to try that again. We're going to start right there. There we go. The first part is a curve, and then on top of that, we've got two flat plate rectangles just to get it all balanced in, make that engine bay look a little tighter. It does just about clip with the hood there, and it does clip into the fenders a little bit, but that'll be coloured a little bit later on. On we go. Keeps changing my mode. On here, we've got them beautiful green headlights, just adding to the effect of the car. Looking quite mean. Now, this front part here, this is meant to be a rear diffuser, but it definitely looks a lot better as a front splitter on this Mercedes. For some reason, I think that fits really, really well. I really like how it looks. I just wish they were angled the other way. That's the only thing I would have changed, but there we go. Looking nice. Now for the weird part. Now, these are the side skirts from the Tomago, but they're the wrong way round, but that's how I wanted them, so that it fits. So the left side, we've got the right side skirt. There we go. And then on the right side, we've got the left side skirt. There we go. Down at the back here, we've got the Atom rear diffuser. Looking pretty awesome on there. And we've also got the Tomago wing just sticking out the back there. Looking a little bit nice. Right on that lettering, which looks good. And then right in the middle there, we go for this one. We've got a speed shifter, which completely covers up that old gear lever, which I didn't really like the look of that much. Anyway, a little bit more to go. We've just got some interior to throw in as well. As I said, I'm leaving it all as it is. We will colour it later. So in with the Gullwing seats and also that Gullwing steering wheel. And that is it for the time being. I think that's absolutely everything. I'm not 100% sure, but we got to get all of this painted looking pretty cool. These bits are all going to be different colour, so I do have to take them all back off again to get them painted a little bit later in the paint shop. A little bit later. That's literally where we're heading now, as long as that's everything. 100%, 100%, 100%. Fantastic. Let's get our beautiful Gullwing into the paint shop and get some colour on this one. Here we go then with the Voodoo, all painted, looking very, very nice in a very metallic green. I'm liking that. We've got a little bit of a livery on there covering up the two bulgy parts on the hood in a lovely body matched grey. It does match in with all of the greys on all of the parts. None of this is painted. That's all the standard colour it comes in, and the livery matches in with that. But we have painted this rear diffuser that we've got at the front there, matching in with that grey. Also, the side skirts are matched into that grey as well, along with the rear spoiler and that rear diffuser as well, all matched in, looking very nice. We have got some text around the Mercedes badge with the Voodoo in the same colour, so it kind of looks like it's meant to be there. Liking that. If we just open up the interior, that speed shifter is in a grey and black. The seats are in a very nicely matched colour for the rest of the interior, along with the steering wheel. But that's got some black steel on it, just on that Mercedes-Benz badge around there. If we open up the hood, the plates in there are all in a lovely green, because I feel like this engine's going to be very dark. We are going to have a bit of green on it. The bolts and screws are all going to be green on this one today. Hopefully a similar colour to the body. But I feel like the engine's going to be very dark, which is why I left that green. So we're going to have to put some colour in there somewhere just to make it pop a little bit more, because it is very dark inside this engine bay. But there we go. I've got to get that engine all painted, the suspension all painted, and then we can start getting this beautiful Voodoo Gullwing all back together. That's everything painted, ready to go back on the Voodoo Gullwing. I really like that colour. I think it looks fantastic. Let's get started with some shocks. We have a carbon fibre shocks with some metallic green springs on there. Looking very nice. Off you come. Let's go to the back and start throwing some bits in, starting with this rear solid axle housing. In you go in that grey. Looking very nice. Nip over to the front, pinion bearing. Then you've got the differential pinion gear and another pinion bearing, along with the flange on top there in a lovely little green. Down to the back, the rear diff, in you go with your two caps, one on this side, lovely green bolts, liking them, in you go and in you go. And then the diff cover, which I've just done in a black, as you can see, ever so slightly different. just because I wanted to accentuate the green screws on there, or bolts on there, looking very, very nice. Apparently we can put the drive shaft in now. We're not going to. Let's head up to the front. Let's get a couple of these bits in. We've got the front suspension crossmember in the grey, the steering rack in the green, and the sway bar also in the green on there. There we go. Looking pretty good. Now we're going to jump to some clips, bearing in mind that this isn't gameplay. This is just some fancy editing by myself to get all of this in and make it look good. So we'll do that, and then we'll talk about it all in just a second. There we go, the first half of the suspension all done. I'm quite liking this grey and green colour combination. Worked out pretty well with a splash of black and a little bit of carbon fibre on there. Obviously, we're using multiplies brake discs today just for a bit more style element. We didn't need all the power, just a bit more style. I did stick with the original Brumbo brake calipers just because I really like how they look. I think they look fantastic. Green springs, a couple of green arms on there. Couple of green bushings, one on this side, there will be one on the other side as well, and I think it's all looking pretty good up the front, mostly in the grey. Obviously all of these connecting bits up here in the grey, few green bushings dropped in just for good measure, making it look cool. That shock in the carbon fibre in green, and then just lots of green and grey dotted in there, or very dark grey should we say, but I think it looks good nonetheless. Let's jump down the back though. We got another piece to go in. Fuel tank just down here in the grey and the pump in the green. And that is pretty much it. I'm going to crack on and finish the rest of the suspension. Then we'll come back, sort out that engine bay before going and building the beautiful Voodoo V8 engine. Well, there we go. All the suspension finished. Oh, engine crane. All the suspension finished. Lots of grey, lots of grey. Few bits of carbon fibre in there as well, just for good measure. I'm liking it. Don't forget, you need to rate this final build out of 10 in the comments below so we can get it onto a scoreboard based on what you guys all think of it. But now, let's crack on and get this engine bay all sorted. There isn't much in here, so let's just get it on. A wishy-washy reservoir. I was tempted to paint this one grey. I'll show you it in a minute. It does sit inside another container, which looks really good. But when I painted it grey, some of the container did show out. So we went back to a normal one there. Brake servo, in you go. And our stage 3 Type A ECU. I've got a backup one. There we go. Didn't need that. Then at the front here, the radiator seat. We've done it in that dark grey. It's a lot darker than I think the rest of it's turned out. You can see it on there. It looks almost black, which is a bit of a shame. But it's covered by that cowling, so we won't see it anyway. So it doesn't really matter. Then onto the battery tray. That's in a beautiful looking green. The battery is painted today. I just put it in the dark grey, almost the same as the radiator there, which is a bit weird, but there we go. The red on top took too much away from the engine bay. Then we got the green top on it with the brackets in that lovely grey on there as well. In you go. And in you go there. And that's it for the engine bay. No fuse boxes. Nothing to play around with like that. Nice and a simple one. If we take a step away, that looks pretty good in there. You see if the red top on the battery just took a little bit away from the rest of the engine bay, in my opinion. So we just changed the battery to a greyed out battery. And that radiator at the front, you can only see the little bit popping out the top for when we need to fill it up with coolant. Looking good. But now we need to go and build that beautiful Voodoo engine into the next room. And I've got it sideways because the Voodoo comes with the crankshaft flat plane V8 Voodoo on there. And I think that looks pretty fantastic. I'm liking that. But anyway, let's get the oil pan on top in a grey. These bolts will all go green when it's in the car a little bit later on. There we go. The heads and all of that are all finished. The block itself is in a green and black, although you can't see the black anywhere, so it doesn't matter. The heads are in a green and steel black as well. Obviously, we've got that steel black around the outside with a bit of green in the middle, just to keep it sort of flowing. 2 camshafts on either side, so 4 in total. 4 camshaft caps per camshaft, so 8 per head, 16 in total, and 4 spark plugs per head, so 8 in total. Then you've got the cam gear B, 2 of them, cam gear A, 2 of them, 2 timing chain A's, 1 on either side. Then you've got the timing chain B, 1 on either side, and the timing chain shoes, 1 on either side. Nice and simple. Let's crack on. The timing cover, we've done it in a grey on the front there. Again, the bolts will all be green when it goes in the car, so that'll look pretty good. Water pump we did in a green just to keep it all matching in with the water pump pulley in that grey on the top. But we'll eventually have green bolts going in it. There we go. Looking nice. Crankshaft pulley is in a green. And then we've also got the idle roller in a green as well. Onto this side, the alternator in that grey, looking pretty good. Round to the other side, the power steering pump also in that grey, looking very nice as well. The belts are blacked out, completely black. The grey, you could still see all the logos and stuff on them, so it wasn't quite what I was after. Then the idle roller A, also in a green, and the belt tensioner, which I've gone for the performance one, which is for the supercharged version, but it does still work in here, giving us a bit extra power. And plus, you get it with the green and the black on there, which I really like the look of. So that's what we went with. On to the engine head covers. On you go in the beautiful green. Now, this is officially based on the Coyote engine, so you could... there is 2 other engine heads you could have put on them, but this takes away from the Voodoo if we put them on. So we're leaving the normal ones on there, plus they look pretty good. And all the ignition coils are in their grey just underneath there, and we'll get that coil cover on in just a minute. First, though, oil filter in the grey, fuel filter up here in the green, looking nice. And now we're going to get this head up to the same spot, and then we'll get them coil covers on. That's all done. Now it's for the coil covers, and I like these. These come in a carbon fibre. We've got some green on them, but we've just got the powered by Ford lettering in the green under there. Looking very, very nice. Round to the other side we go, and you go on that side. Then, what should we do next? We'll do the intake manifold. Now, this is in its normal carbon fibre with a splash of green on it, just on that front plate there. Looking very good. The carbon all matches in, and that looks fantastic. Then we've got the fuel rails. I like these. These are obviously different, not the normal parts. So we get these in. They've got the flat plain, a 5.2 litre crankshaft on there with some other bits of text. We do also have a bit of a green carbon fibre in there. I couldn't get it to go normal colour with the green still on it, but it looks very good nonetheless. Onto the other side, ever so slightly different on this side. You don't have the full plate finishing it off, but you still get the flat plain 5.2 litre. Although the E's gone a bit funny on that one. Something's gone wrong with the texture on the E. That doesn't quite balance up properly, but there we go. Still looks good. Is it the same on the other side? No, that side shows up the E properly. But anyway, they still look fantastic. Loving them. Then the throttle body, specifically for the V8 Voodoo, in a black and green. Very, very nice on there. Liking that, really finishing that engine off. Last piece to go on are just the exhaust manifolds, which are in that grey and looking pretty good. And the rear mufflers, that are side mufflers technically, are also in that grey as well. So it should all match up, looking very, very nice. There we go. That's that all done. I love this engine. I think that looks absolutely fantastic. Excellent job for the TK Aftermarket and for Payne for adding this one in as well. There we go. Off the stand. Let's go drop it in our beautiful Voodoo Gullwing. In you go. Get that crane put away, and then we'll take a look. There. Oh, that looks very nice. The greens match very well. The darkness of the carbon fibre and all the grey and black that's on there really carries on the theme of that engine bay. I love that. I think that looks fantastic. But there we go. Up in the air. Gearbox, a drive shaft, and some exhaust to go in. That's what we've got. So let's jump into the engine and get on the gearbox. In you go in a lovely grey. Green bolts, liking that. There is a splash of carbon fibre on this as well, just on that plate over there. Don't know why, I just fancied it. Then the starter, we've also kept that one in a grey because of the lovely green bolts. And now we'll get this drive shaft on. We've gone for the big carbon fibre one, but we've done it in a green and black, taking the carbon fibre out of it because it's a very blue carbon fibre, and I didn't want some blue carbon fibre in there. So there we go, that's that one. On you go, and then our lovely side exhausts, also in that beautiful grey on there and on there, and they should match very nice with the rest of the car. We'll check them out in a second as we walk out underneath. It's very dark under there, but quite a few splashes of green just to give your eyes something to be drawn to. Liking that. The exhaust tips sticking out the side in that grey, which matches in with the side skirts, and the stripe, the fender piece, just about, not quite perfectly. I'm liking that. Very, very good. Now we're going to get the windows tinted, the liquids topped up, some beautiful wheels done, and get this beautiful Gullwing outside in the sun. That's all finished with the Gullwing Voodoo, and I absolutely love this. I love the metallic green and the greys going all the way around it. I think it looks fantastic. Even a little bit of Voodoo text on the back there, and just a couple of stripes on the hood, mentioning, covering up them bulges in there just a little bit. It still looks pretty good. If we open up in there, I love that engine. The Voodoo engine added in with the TK Aftermarket, designed by Dead Bob, aka Payne. You know him, you love him. He's on the server for the Red Dot Games official Discord server. So there we go. Absolutely love that engine. I think it looks fantastic. Let's talk about these rims, though. I went for the rim Typhoon today. Bit bizarre, I know, but I think it fits this car incredibly well. The fronts are an 18-inch rim, 195 width, a 30 profile, an ET of 25, just to make sure them brakes don't clip into the rims. It's the only reason for the ET. Didn't need it at the front at all, really. Down at the back, very similar size, an 18-inch rim, 205 width, so just a little bit wider. Still a 30 profile, an ET of 30 at the back, just to fill out that well properly. Looking very, very nice. I'm liking that. Obviously, we've got all our bonus parts on here from various different places, like this, and this are not available to everybody. There's some private mods from Multiply. Absolutely love you, dude. Thank you very much for them. It makes this car work. Not designed for this car. The side skirts and the spoiler were designed for the Tomago. The rear diffuser is for the Atom. And the front diffuser, which is actually a rear diffuser, is for the Salem GW500. So a bit of mix and matching on there. The rest of the bonus parts, such as these headlights, I do believe are available to everybody. You can find them on the Steam Workshop, along with all of the metal plating if you want to build something like this. Only on PC, though. I just have to clarify that one. But there we go. It's looking beautiful. Also, the speed shifter bonus part that is available to everybody as well. Well, let's check out the inside. Let's take a seat in here. I'm loving the grey seats. I'm not going to lie. It really blends in with the rest of this interior. And not putting any green on that speed shifter, I feel like was a solid idea. I think like we're sat quite high. This is a very low car and it's quite a small car. So it probably makes sense. But really love this. Excellent work by Lit for this one. But let's get it started and see what that Voodoo engine sounds like. Not bad. I imagine it's just going to sound about the same as the Coyote engine. Although the tick over when under not acceleration is very quiet. Incredibly loud at that top end, like blowing out. And then as soon as you let go, it just dies off and there's nothing there. But there we go. It is what it is. We're not racing this one today, so do give it your scores out of 10. Although we are going to quickly head over to the dyno and see what its horsepower is and what its drag rating will be. On the dyno with the Voodoo-powered VM Voodoo Gullwing. Lots of Voodoos going on there. 432 factory horsepower. How much have we added today? And what will its drag rating be if we were going to race it? That drops off at the end there, doesn't it? There we go. A gain of 462 horsepower. 107%. We're in to more than a whole engine. Again, feels nice to be back there. Bringing us up to a total horsepower of 894. A little under 1,000. Not too shabby. This car is tiny and weighs very little. Drag rating of A, 613. And not that we're drag racing this, so that really doesn't matter. We're not racing it around anything today. You should know that if you've been paying attention. I want you guys to give me a score out of 10 for this beautiful Gullwing. What do you think? Is it a 9? Is it an 8? Do you hate it? Is it a 1? It could even be a 0.1. I don't think we could do a 0 because that's going to be quite hard to, work out an averages. But if you wanted to do 0.1, you could. Give me something between 0.1 and 10 and we'll do an average and find out where it will sit on that wonderful board. Anyway, this is the gearbox tuning I have gone for today. Not that it matters. Again, we're not racing it. 2.76 ratio, 90k in first gear, up to 420 in a fifth gear. It's just, I just made this fast, basically. That's all I did to that one. I don't know if it drives realistically or not, because we're not racing it. This is a show car, not designed for the racetrack. We do have the Stage 3 ECU fully tuned, 16%. Don't forget to check out the short just up here if you want to see how to do this perfectly every time. There is a link in the description below as well, and there's also a link to the carb tuning, although this one doesn't have any carbs. But anyway, let's get this one back outside in the sun and finish this video off. All finished with the beautiful Voodoo Gullwing. Now do please leave me a comment with a score out of 10. What do you think about this beautiful, beautiful car? If you were rating it out of 10, what would you give it? In the comments below. Very much appreciated. Thank you very much. Now let's talk some facts and figures. I bought the car for 236, sorry, and could have sold it at a loss of 1,014 at the beginning. We obviously didn't do that. We spent a further 74,409 upgrading, modifying, tuning, and painting this beautiful Gullwing to how you see it here right now in front of you today, paying our total spend at 115,645. That's actually quite a bit. Is there some money to be made from this beautiful Gullwing? There is only one way to find out. Let's get in. Let's take a look. Although we definitely are not selling this Gullwing today. Well, there it is, all 100% finished. Absolutely fantastic. I've really enjoyed this build today. Customizing it, getting it to how you see it or saw it in front of you then. Absolutely fantastic. And that Voodoo engine, absolutely love that. 432 base horsepower up to 894. We could have added more if I wanted to put some intercoolers and stuff like that in it. We could have made it more powerful, but we were never going to race it. It was all about the looks. This is one of our show car builds to go on that wonderful show build board. There it is on the screen. Now that's why I need you to give me a score out of 10, and I will take all of the scores that have been given and give an average, and that's how it'll end up on that board. We are going to add slightly to that board. We're going to put somewhere in around a number of people that actually gave it a score, just to keep it a bit fairer. But there we go. We spent 115,645 on this Gullwing today. If we were to sell it, is there some money to be made? With a sale price of 190,429, there is definitely some money to be made. A profit of 74,784 to be precise, but we're definitely not selling this one. It is going to take a lovely pride of place spot up there somewhere. I think it's probably about time to say goodbye to the Fiat. That is the oldest one that is still out here. As much as I love it, it's probably going to say goodbye. We're going to have the McLaren, the Chapman, and the MA4. Now, these two are on the board already because they were built specifically for it, whereas the others were not. So we're going to end up out here eventually with cars just from that show car board, apart from the Porsche. That Porsche is never going anywhere. Rest in peace, Ken Block. You are an absolute legend. But the rest of these will be filled up with show car, well, the top four, should I say, of the show car board as we get around to it. It's mostly for our competition entry. But there we go. All finished with the beautiful Gullwing. Definitely, absolutely love that one. And definitely keeping it around because it's a little stunner. The Voodoo Gullwing, definitely one of my favourite builds I've ever made. But there we go. When we come back on Friday, we will be back to the China DLC with the wonderful Zhuyan Qinfeng. No idea. Probably just insulted a bunch of people, but there we go. It is available from all of the places, and there is only the one config with it. We got it from the auction house, and wow, everything is 5% or under. Don't think I've ever seen that one before, so there we go. But did we get a good deal for this absolute heap of junk? No. I bought it for 3,294 and could sell it for 2,754, losing out on 540 credits before we begin. But, you know, it is what it is. The engine in this one is the i4 single overhead cam rear-wheel drive engine. We did work with this one before with the off-road thing, beast, whatever you want to call that one. So we'll be doing this one again, hopefully slightly different. And when we come back, we'll be checking out all the liveries for it. So make sure you come back on Friday. So do join us back here on Friday for when we finish off the last of the China DLC. I am looking forward to it. It's quite a cool-looking car, even if it is like a Chinese rip-off of something else. Let me know what you think it is in the comments below. Don't forget, do leave me a score out of 10 for that beautiful Gullwing. I do like to hear your people's opinions. Plus, we need to get it on that show car board. So I need some scores. Make sure you leave them. Do leave me a like if you did enjoy today's video. Don't forget to double check that you are subscribed and share this video if you think someone you know may enjoy it. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you especially for sticking around to the end. It is one of the best ways you can support me and this channel. It's just by watching the content that I create. So thank you very much for that. Have a beautiful day, whatever it is you're getting up to. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.
Like and subscribe for Virtual Mechanic.